let's get to the events of the weekend, which are exciting for both of you, really. But from a Giants' point of view, the arrival of, well, not the arrival, the continued arrival of Aaron Cadman. We spoke to you last time about him and his abilities. I heard you talk about him post-game. I mean, you've seen this coming for a while. It's nice to get it rubber stamped and then get a signature on a contract.
Yeah, it certainly is. Timely too, I might add. On the back of the weekend's performance, it was done the day before. So whether that released a little bit of anxiety or anything around that, he certainly performed terrifically. It was a key part of our game. And I've spoken in the past about how he is continually putting himself in positions to impact games, to mark the balls. I think he's the best follow-up key forward in the competition. But for him to be able to, take his marks and finish his work was really important for us, no doubt. But it'll be really important for him moving forward too. He's played less than 50 games, or about 50 games, sorry, and continuing to develop. So the confidence that he'll generate out of that hopefully takes him another step forward.
So you got Jesse as your nominal full forward. You got Jake, who you've handled really well, and Toby and whoever else you want going through there. It looks so capable. What do you call him, Aaron Cadman? Old-time centre-half forward? Where is he playing?
He's kind of like a secondary key forward. He has the running capacity to play like an old-school key forward, like a Nick Rewald or a Jonathan Brown, but I think he's so versatile. He can get up the ground and compete up there, but he can also work his way back inside forward 50s. I think he's developing his split technique, his ability to get split on his opponent and to generate some easy uncontested marks. But it was really his contested marking and his ability to finish sort of snaps, I think maybe is part of the reason why he was able to sort of generate the type of game that he did. But he's incredibly versatile. I mean, early days we were training him as a second ruck. I don't think that was all that conducive to performing as the key forward after that. But we've managed to sort of settle him down, and he keeps presenting. I mean, that's the thing. You know yourself as a forward, if you can get in line of the ball and keep presenting, whether it's at the leg or over the back, you keep the ball getting kicked to you, and you give yourself opportunity.
Number 1 draft picks. Andrew, what did you make of Harley Reid and Jason Horne-Francis and their various footballing moments and their various battles across yesterday?
Yeah, they both love the battle, don't they? They're good competitors. I thought there was some good theatre yesterday. Unfortunately, Horne-Francis probably got the cream in the end when he kicked that goal. But I thought it was a good battle. I love the way Harley competes. I love the way Horne-Francis competes and butters. I think they're good for the game, the way they go about it. And Harl's just he's carrying a big load in our midfield at the moment, and I think he's doing a good job. We've got a young midfield. That's what we've got at the moment. Unfortunately, Yowie hasn't played any games for us this year. So Harley's in the fight every game, which we love. So the theatre is real, and it was good to watch. I'm wondering about, your frustration or otherwise with, some of the things he does, and where's the line on it? And have you been hard enough in trying to establish, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable from, someone as young as he is, but someone that's obviously so important to you? Yeah, it's an ongoing battle. We're sort of having it a bit with a few of our other players as well. Just, we want our players to be fiercely competitive, but we also want to stay incredibly disciplined and not give away free kicks. We have some challenges with the territory game as it is, so we don't want to give opposition any easy ones. So we're going to keep trying to be fierce, but not give away any free kicks. And what does he say to you when you... So we're looking at the trip here, which I'm really strong at. I think he's unbelievably lucky to be playing this weekend. I think he should have been suspended, and they've missed a trick here, the AFL. But what's his response when you do sit down and say, come on, mate, there are things that you're doing really well, but there are things you've got to get better at, and you're a bit of a recidivist in some of these areas? Yeah, he's certainly responsive to it. He understands that he wants to win and compete, but he has to get his balance right. And I think when I was 20 years old, I made a few mistakes as well, and part of his learning process that he's going through, and I've got no doubt he'll continue to improve and get better at it. Adam, what are you getting out of Jake Stringer at the moment?
Yeah, we like the way he's working into our... we like the way he's working into the system in front of the ball. He's working incredibly well with his teammates And you mentioned a few of them before, but you've got Callum Brown, Darcy Jones, Toby Bedford now working in there. Toby Green's reasonable. With Brent Daniels hopefully to get back pretty soon. So he's playing a really important role ahead of the ball. He's bobbing up and kicking some goals. You know, that Gold Coast game a few weeks ago, he kicked two of the more amazing goals you'll see right when we needed them. And so his ability to finish his work has been a little bit subpar, I guess, over the course of the season, but feels like he's coming good at the right time. So really important. Our players loving having him as a teammate and really enjoying him.
It seems like you've managed it beautifully, whether by good luck or design. Like, he's had a few injuries, so he's had to have some time away. And you brought him back and he played the sub and then lit the joint up when he came back on. He looks lean, he looks fit. Is it a management thing? Is it a bit of his penny drop? Is it a bit of the fact that he needs you more than you need him? How do you see it?
Oh, I think it's probably a combination of all that. You know, he came in, he was a little bit unlucky early part of the season. He got some illness early on, and I think that's probably contributed to some soft tissue stuff. So he did a hamstring early on in the season, and then round 9, I think it was, against the Cats down there, was another slight hamstring injury. So he could have been back a couple of weeks, but we decided to sort of try and give him a mini pre-season throughout the middle of the year. So he came back in for that Gold Coast game after missing about 5 or 6 weeks, I think it was, and feels like he's in really good shape. But again, you never know, and he's making a really great contribution, not only hitting the scoreboard, but as I said, playing a role and pressuring, and had a really good tackle in the forward pocket against one of the Cats players where he didn't kick the goal, but it's just a sign of his intent to support his teammates and really contribute, and that's what we love about him most so far.
Andrew, mid-July and one win to your name. I love Gary's word, nourishment. Sometimes you need the nourishment of a win. How are you going without that and the gains that you're trying to make?
Just before I answer that, Gerard, I was a bit disappointed the cameras didn't catch Kingers and his Speedos down there at the beach before. Most certainly would have been in them. But, if you look at our season from a win-loss, it's been brutal. Like, it's really hard to be at this point of the season as really competitive people and players and only have one win. So that's challenging, but it's funny that we've kind of got this feeling at the moment, and I'm really confident that we're getting better. And I know it sounds a bit silly to say when we've only had one win, but we're working really hard in our game. We are seeing improvements each week, but we've still got some challenges and been able to put it together for 4 quarters. So we understand where we are as a club. We're on a journey. We're playing some good quarters, and our best footy's pretty competitive against most teams, but unfortunately the gap at the moment is too big.
You found a couple of big key forwards in Shanahan and Williams that can carry you forward?
Yeah, I think we really have, and even Harley Reid, who's not playing at the moment. We're in a position where we've got our 2 best key forwards not playing in Jake Waterman and Oscar Allen through injury. So it provides opportunity, and we've seen Job Shanahan come in the last 3 weeks, and he looks every part of an AFL player. And as you don't get many 18-year-olds competing like this in our game, so it's great to see some of those guys getting opportunity, and it's exciting for the future.